Let's head straight to Old Trafford tonight. Matt Critchley, our reporter, has been camped out all week waiting for this news, this Alexis Sanchez swap deal news to finally be confirmed. Matt, is today the day?
Alex, I don't want to sound evasive, but we still don't know whether today will be the day that we hear whether Alexis Sanchez becomes a Manchester United player officially, Henrik Mkhitaryan becomes an Arsenal player officially, and that's because at the moment we're in the hands of the Home Office. As you mentioned there in the headlines, the medicals are done, all the work in terms of the two clubs are done, the interviews with club media, the shirts, the photographs, it's all in place. But now what's missing is the official paperwork for both players, who of course are from outside the EU, so they both need work permits, and they've had to both travel, both Alexis and Henrik Mkhitaryan, to Liverpool, about 30-40 miles away from here at Old Trafford. They've had to travel to Liverpool today to get some paperwork signed and documents sealed in terms of their work permits to represent their new clubs. So we're just waiting on that documentation to be finalised, to be finished off, and then it could be later today that both clubs make that official announcement. It could even drag into tomorrow, and I know a lot of people are very frustrated indeed that this has dragged on for more than a week now, but really we are in the last knockings now, with the Home Office just having to sort of dot the I's and cross the T's almost to get their paperwork completed, and then it will be official, and we'll hear an official announcement from both clubs that Alexis Sanchez becomes a Manchester United player, Henrik Mkhitaryan an Arsenal player, in a straight swap. No money has changed hands. That's what we understand between the two clubs.
Well, Matt, this is certainly the big transfer of this transfer window, but it's certainly not the only one. Where does Arsenal's pursuit of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang stand currently?
Well, clearly, yeah, they'd like to get Mkhitaryan done and finished off, and they've already made approaches towards trying to sign Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Borussia Dortmund for a fee around about £50 million. We know that Ivan Gazidis and the new technical director at Arsenal, the head of recruitment, Sven Mislintat, are both in Dortmund, both negotiating with Dortmund officials to try and get that deal to go through. We think that an early offer has been made over the weekend, that was rejected by Dortmund, and now, as I say, negotiations are taking place in order to try and get that deal across the line for both parties to agree a fee to take the player to Arsenal. I think it's likely to happen. He scored 21 goals in all competitions so far this season, but as we know, didn't play on Friday night in their game against Hertha Berlin, so he's had one or two disciplinary problems, Aubameyang, in the past, and I think he's ultimately hoping that the deal does go through himself, hoping that he becomes an Arsenal player and will play in the Premier League in the near future. But again, where we are with that one at the moment, I believe, and to my information, is that the two sides are still negotiating in terms of a price for the player. No agreement has been reached yet, so no medicals or no personal terms can be agreed just yet.
Finally, Matt, if this Sanchez transfer is a tale as old as time at this point, this one is an even older tale. Real Madrid still pursuing David De Gea, it seems.
Well, the interesting news from today is that the Athletic Bilbao goalkeeper Kepa has signed a new contract, keeping him at the club for, well, at least the next 6 or 7 years, become one of the highest paid players at Athletic Bilbao. So that's a key piece of news as far as Real Madrid are concerned, because we know that they had their eye on the goalkeeper as a potential replacement at Real Madrid. Of course, one or two problems at that club at the moment with their form of late, and that has, of course, led people to speculate that they may come back in for David De Gea. They were very close to signing him a couple of summers ago, only for a bit of paperwork not to be quite completed in time, and I think it's likely that that interest will be renewed, that Real Madrid will come back in for David De Gea, who hasn't yet signed a contract renewal here at Manchester United. That's what's concerning a few people at the club. He has just under 18 months left. It expires in June 2019, and the club are very keen to tie him down to a longer term contract, but with just 18 months left on his contract here at United, the speculation linking him with Madrid will no doubt continue.
Well, it should be a finally exciting final week of this January transfer window. Thank you very much, Matt Critchley, joining us from outside Old Trafford. Meanwhile, former Manchester City striker Edin Dzeko is on the verge of returning to the Premier League. The Bosnian wants reassurances of regular football, though, before agreeing to join Chelsea. Tancredi Palmieri has more.
Good afternoon, Alex. Spare some room in the next news and headlines, because not only the announcement of Alexis Sanchez to Manchester United is upon our heads, also the conclusion of the deal between Chelsea and Roma for Emerson Palmieri and especially Edin Dzeko. This morning, late morning, a new contact this time around should be the decisive one between the Londoners and the Romans for the two players. The price is set and agreed by both of them, 50 million euros plus 10 million in bonus. Still under discussion the kind of bonus. Roma wants some easier add-ons than the one offered by Chelsea last week, and also in how many installments this payment should be provided. But usually when just these last details are missing, then in the end the deal is always finalized. It's not the only thing going on between England and Italy. Daniel Sturridge was the target of Inter, but allegedly the English winger has decided to put his finger on Spain on the football map because he wants to join Sevilla, who has inquired about him. And also a crazy news, nothing less than a crazy news that this morning was going around from some English newspaper about Mario Balotelli joining Juventus. Now, what I can say from my ground, from my side, I didn't find any ground about this story. Meanwhile, today for Juve is important anyway because they are hosting Genoa in a game that is not that difficult, but Napoli winning yesterday in Bergamo against Atalanta is now 4 points far and is putting pressure on the Bianconeri shoulders. But to be honest, Juventus are really free from any pressure and possibly free from any Mario Balotelli. Back to you, Alex.